Well, for the last time in this Ashes series, it's Cricbuzz Chatter with Adam Collins and Mike Hussey on a day when England truly capitulated with the bat. They lost all 10 wickets for 56, all out for 124, losing inside 3 days after so much gallant work with the ball earlier in the day. It was really a day of two halves, but Huss, let's start at the end. Pat Cummins, Scott Boland, Cameron Green, the squeeze was on. England had no response.
Well, at none for 68, I thought, oh, hang on a second, something special could happen here. But then Cameron Green came on, got that wicket just before the tea break. I think the Australians went into that tea break, just consolidated everything and came back and bowled magnificently. England, I thought they fought hard early, but then really fell away quickly, losing 10 wickets for 56, did you say? Really disappointing in the end. And yeah, they just didn't fight it out, and I think they'll be very disappointed with how they finished that game off.
There'll be a lot of TV replays of the last few wickets, and people will watch that and they'll be bewildered. How does that happen to a team when they can be so bereft of any hope that they can completely give up the ghost, especially how committed they looked in the field? And you're right in mentioning that opening stand between Crawley and Burns. They nearly get to tee. Burns chops on right on tee to Cameron Green, and the wheels just fall off. But going to the end of it, I mean, these dismissals, how can they look back at those with any personal pride? It's a disaster.
Well, that's right. As you said, they threw in the towel, and that's a disappointing thing because you're playing for your country. You're representing not just yourself and your team, you're representing however many millions of fans out there of that cricket team. And so I think they should be disappointed with the way they finished off that series. It's been a tough series for them, no question, but you want to finish off showing some fight, showing some spirit, like what we saw at the SCG, which was fantastic to see. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that today, and there's going to be a big post-mortem for England, I would have thought.
Pat Cummins, 21 wickets at 18, Mitchell Starc, 19, Boland, 18, Green, 13, Lyons, 16 without having to bowl in the entire Test match. I think the most impressive thing about that is not only Cummins has a 2 in front of it. It was the definition of the squeeze across the series, with many people called upon and everybody delivering.
Yeah, and I think that's a real strength of this Australian team. It's not just relying on Pat Cummins to get the wickets. It's not just relying on Mitchell Starc. It's a collective effort. They all chipped in. They all bowled beautifully. Scotty Boland's outstanding. Nathan Lyon, as you mentioned, bowled well throughout the series as well. But it wasn't just the bowlers. The batters, that they outplayed England as well. Only one century maker for England in this series, whereas Australia, Travis Head scored 2 centuries, Usman Khawaja 2 centuries, Marnus Labuschagne got a century. So they've totally outplayed England in all facets of the game, that the fielding was better as well, thoroughly deserved their 4-0 victory.
Boland finishes with 18 wickets at 9.8. I mean, I interviewed him this morning and said, your life's going to change forever. And I think he's just that's a sinking in for him now that he's got this massive year ahead of him. Who knows what will be in Asia, 9 Test matches there, culminating in 4 in India, maybe the county championship, who knows. Speaking of England, Mark Wood, hat tip to him, 6 for 37, his best figures in Test cricket, took 9 for the match, never stopped sprinting in. His reputation has been enhanced dramatically, not just, I suppose, in England circles, but here in Australia as well.
Oh, without doubt. You mentioned his reputation, definitely been enhanced, but he has gained millions of fans, Australian cricket fans in it. We love a guy that comes in and just tries his heart out. And he certainly did that throughout the whole series. As you mentioned, he just charged in every single ball, giving his all, bowling at over 145 k's an hour. And earlier in the series, he wasn't getting the rewards. He was going past the bat, missing the outside edge so many times. There was catches going down off his bowling. But today he got the rewards. He got all the reward for that hard work that he'd put in earlier in the series. He bowled aggressively. He bowled short. And he really ruffled the Australian batsmen. And I'm really happy for him because he's a great character as well and a great guy to have around the team.
There'll be questions asked about the strategic element to this, that they went short and leg side towards the end and it really paid off. There will be many questions of Joe Root and Chris Silverwood. That's inevitable. Drilling down on Root specifically, though, I mean, do you take him out of the firing line and just let him bat for a while and not be the Test captain? I asked him just before, do you want the job? He does want the job, but does someone need to say to him, it's in your interest just to go back to the ranks for a time? He's lost 4-0 here, 4-0 in Australia 4 years ago. No one's captained England as often as he has across the history of the team. I mean, it's been a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. What one is, does he want to do the job? And if you've asked him and he says he does want to do the job, he's got to say, right, okay, well, if I'm the man to take this team forward, and I can lead this team along a path that can make this team from where it is now, or take this team from where it is now to a higher ground, that if he's got the motivation to do that, then I think he's the right man for the job. He's obviously a quality player.
Yep.
but he's a quality character and human being. And leadership, yes, part of it is the strategy on the field. But a big part of leadership is the type of culture you want to develop in a team as well. He needs some help around him, no question about that. They need to examine various things of English cricket to get them back on the right path. Probably a bit more attention on red ball cricket, or should I say Test cricket, to help them as well. But I personally would love to see him go on. As long as he wants to go on and do the job, I think he's the right man for it.
Yeah, no questioning his character or his capacity. Let's hope they make the right decision for English cricket and Joe Root as well. All right, for the final time in the series, let's go into the hotspot. In the hotspot, he's a favourite of mine. I know he's a favourite of yours. West Australia's own Cameron Green, the all-rounder, 22 years of age, bowls like the wind, 3 crucial wickets to get the party started for Australia today. Made it 100 runs, I think it was, across the 2 innings in the Test match, including some vital runs on that first day. I mean, wow, what a performance.
He's arguably one of the most important players in this Australian team now, having that extra bowling option. And it's not just a part-time bowling option, it's a quality bowling option that Pat Cummins can turn to at any stage. He turned to him today when England were on top, none for 68, going well. He broke that partnership. Yeah, he's a quality performer. His batting's only going to get better and better as well, so he can lock down that number 6 batting position. And you're almost getting 2 players. You've got someone that can bat in the top 6 and score runs, but you've got someone who could also be in your top 4 bowlers. He's going to add a lot of balance to that team, particularly when they go and play in the subcontinent. Yes. Australia might want to play 2 spinners. He can play as a third seamer if need be. So much upside there. And what experiences has he had in the last 2 years? He's played against a very strong Indian team, tough series there, gets through that. Then he's exposed to an Ashes series. So much hype, so much attention, and he's only enhanced his reputation even further. So the lessons that he would have learnt over the last couple of years will only hold him in great stead for the future.
It might even be he can be the second seamer if they play 3 spinners in India, if circumstances dictate that later in the year. Options galore for Australia as well. With Travis Head, he's won the Compton Miller Medal for Player of the Series. Player of the Match here for his barnstorming century on afternoon and evening 1. He's gone from being perhaps the last guy named in this Australian team 4 or 5 weeks ago to a guy who is not only undroppable but a genuine senior player. He'll be one of the first names on the team sheet when they go to Pakistan.
Well, you're right, and I think what we've been craving from Travis Head over the last few years is that consistency. He'll look amazing and he'll make a great century for Australia, and then he'll miss out with some loose shots. But he's tightened his technique up. He's become more consistent over the last couple of years. He's worked hard on his game, and he showed that consistency throughout this series. He was the standout batsman throughout the series. Missed a Test match. I thought it was a shrewd choice as man of the series because we were all thinking the bowlers, and thinking how dominant they were and how great their figures looked. But you've got to remember the pitches were very difficult for batting. Yes. And for him to score 2 centuries and the manner in which he scored those centuries, even here in Hobart, he came in at 3 for 12, changed the whole momentum of that match and took the game away from England. So I think it was a fine choice as man of the series. He was a fantastic player for Australia throughout the course of the series.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And he said that the fact that he had the confidence to do what he did at 12 for 3 on day 1, is it because of what he did at the Gabba and because they backed him in? It all adds up. Everything Australia's touched has turned to gold through the series, and that's going to be it for us on Cricbuzz Chatter. Thank you so much for all of your feedback and your comments and your discussions with us on social media. We love all of it. We love being part of the Cricbuzz family. On behalf of Mike Hussey and myself, this has been Cricbuzz Chatter. This has been the Ashes in Australia. The home side win 4-0. Goodbye from us.
Thank you very much.